What's going on, everybody? It's segment 3 with Mr. Michael Zuber. How's it going, Mike?
Good, man. How you doing? I like spicy topics. You always bring the heat.
I always get the hate, so
Yeah, well,
I don't mind.
Sometimes it comes. Yes,
it's deserved. I don't mind. Whatever. So the third topic I wanted to talk about with you today, specifically, is as I studied my rent roll, because I am brand new to Section 8 and to housing, I believe that a massive amount, a majority of the amount of rent increases that we've seen in this market are all to blame on government housing programs.
Tell me more. When you say government housing programs, do you mean Section 8 or
it's the whole swath? It's the whole swath, which is the emergency funds people got for COVID assistance.
Yeah. Okay.
The combination of Housing Authority Section 8 and the market and a reduction in, generally speaking, in available housing. I looked at my numbers and it is unbelievable the number of inquiries that we get per unit posted.
Yeah, we've gone. Yeah, it's crazy.
We average over 100 per weekend per unit.
That's crazy.
And 85% of them don't come anywhere near qualifying.
Well, that's a red flag for your area, right? I mean, your qualifications are lower than mine, right? You want 680, I think.
Yep. Yeah. 680, three last months of paying your landlord. And I want 3x net income.
Yeah. That's not horrible. That's not restrictive, right? I've seen much worse.
It's not.
This is an interesting conversation because generally speaking, as a free market person, anytime government gets involved, they mess it up. It's just like, it's a rule, right? It's not a, sometimes they just always mess it up. However, when I step back and look at the country, I think there are some extenuating circumstances, at least in some markets. I think one thing that you may not be thinking about when you're myopically looking at your view is we have seen a lot of kind of move to the Southeast.
Yep.
Right.
Sure.
New Yorkers going south, Californians going south.
Agreed. Yep.
And a lot of those areas weren't ready, right? It takes a moment to decide to move, but it takes months, quarters, or years to build a new unit. So if you have a pandemic, you shut the country down, you have crazy left, right, blue, red decisions, and you don't like them, and you decide to leave them, where you're going is probably not ready. And then if you and 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 others make the same choice, they're really not ready. So, I would love to make the government the first order effect. I don't know that I would give them this one, at least when I look countrywide. I think there's a lot of, again, it's all the blame on the pandemic and it's all that.
Yes.
But I think a lot more of it is supply demand, because I think a lot of cities just got a lot of population when they weren't ready. It takes a long time to build a new unit. And if you get 10,000, like I think Florida was averaging like 3,000 new people a day.
Yeah.
You're not having 3,000 more units a day.
No.
Right.
No matter how good of a builder you are.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know if it was true, and maybe it was 300. But anyways, I think a lot more of this was supply demand in cities not being ready.
So I think that's interesting because and the reason why we're discussing this is because I like to be able to have this open dialogue with you. And I think that so when I looked at it, our normal rate for the government with the federal plan created massive competition.
Well, this is what I think the government did. And again, I could say this in my market, which probably applies to others. As a landlord, the normal process is you sign a contract, and that contract is legally enforceable. If you don't pay me, I go through this process called an eviction.
Sure.
You leave, I clean, and a new paying tenant comes in. That is a process that for most of time worked. Then the government said eviction moratorium, which, oh, by the way, is unconstitutional, finally proven so. Then, oh, by the way, we're going to pay them rent and make up for it. And we lost the process of evictions for 2 years. And why is that important?
Oh yeah.
Well, basically that's keeping inventory off the market.
Correct. Correct.
I mean, we had units that were off the market for over a year that had plenty of people that would be paying market rent, but because the tenant in there was literally playing a game.
Yeah.
And the federal government paid his rent for a year while he balled out and bought Rolexes or whatever he bought. The government reduced supply. They screwed up the normal process of, sometimes stuff happens and you need to down select. You need to go live with mom and dad or get roommates. That you sign a contract. And last time I checked, contracts are really what free markets are supposed to be based on. But when the government said those were essentially worth shit, that created a problem in housing.
Yeah. So I think that's certainly part of it. I want to give you some more concrete numbers because you're great with numbers.
Yep.
So here's some more concrete numbers. A typical 2-bedroom for me would be probably $1,400 to $1,600.
Okay.
Okay. The program would offer $2,500 for 2 bedrooms.
This is the emergency money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is definitely true. Yeah.
Right. So it's 25. So that's one piece. 2,500 they would offer for that unit that was 16. That was the first piece.
And that was all because of supply problems. But yeah.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. So the other interesting piece was, do you know what the criteria was for you to be able to qualify for that? Let's say the ceiling of what your income could be.
I don't know. No idea.
60 grand.
So they were below 60.
You could make $55,000 a year and qualify for a housing voucher for $2,500 for a 2-bedroom.
Yeah. And again, the problem when they created those emergency programs is, again, this is exactly what will happen to first-time homeowners if they throw money at it.
Yes.
You have a reduced supply because of your stupid eviction moratorium and you're not
Correct.
Cleaning the system.
Correct. Yep.
Then your normal 1,500, you create a one-time, emergency of 2,500. That becomes the floor for cash paying tenants.
That's right. Exactly.
Now everybody's
exactly. So that was the thing that I was encountering, right? Is I wanted to diversify my portfolio. So I did. And I also wanted to help some people out. So I did. And then I had to tell a bunch of people that were gainfully employed, $125,000, $130,000 a year combined income.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to give everybody a fair shot.
Yeah. First one. Yeah, absolutely.
So at the end of the day, though, what's really very interesting is now it's unwinding.
Yeah. That's the problem with the emergency
funds run out in the next 6 months, I think.
And
those people cannot even come close to paying. Forget about that number. They can't even pay market. So yeah, I think there's going to be some markets where there is going to be I think there's going to be a drawdown in rents.
I agree. I think apartments, connected units specifically, are going to see a draw. And I've said it out loud.
Yeah.
I think every variable is going to go against the multifamily investor. Cap rates are going to go up. Yep. Rents are going to be softening. Evictions are going to go up. Occupancies are going to go down. This thing called regression to the mean. There's actually a video on my channel coming out at 11 a.m. where Jonathan Twomley, who's a syndicator, multifamily investor, we talk about everything going back to the mean and just like, watch out. This could be painful.
Yeah. I still believe you and I are going to buy the biggest building that we ever have in the next 24 months. Is my belief.
I would put money on that bet. Yes.
Yeah, I think for sure. So Mike, thanks for going through these numbers with me. Like I said, I'm looking at them and I'm just like, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't.
No, they've set people up for failure.
Massive failure. Like we've actually, even though there's 6 months left, we've already started working with people saying, this is what that unit actually costs. Please identify that you can pay for it. And if not, we want to start the transition and give you as much time as you possibly can get to transition into something else.
Yeah.
Like that's what we've started doing because it won't make any sense. So as I always say, we try and create great content for you. Mike, tell everybody where they can find you.
One rental at a time. If you want to ask me some questions, I do that Saturdays at 8 a.m. Pacific.
Awesome. Mike, thanks so much for taking the time with us. As I always say, subscribe, hit that like button for us, and make sure you attend Mike's awesome 300 person this Saturday live stream tomorrow, 11 a.m. on One Rental at a Time. I'm 11:30 a.m. Eastern time on my channel on Sunday. Mike, thanks so much for the time. Have a great week. We'll talk to you again soon.
Got it.